Okay, hear me out. I have some conflicting thoughts on the new warbond Viper Commandos. I really like the flavor it brings to the game, but at the same time I'm not sure it brings enough mechanically to the game. Both of those things are relevant to understand if we want to understand whether the new wand contributes narratively to the game. First, let's deep dive into the new items and look at what they bring. Let's look at the non-combat stuff first. Looking at the poses. Normally, I'm not excited about the poses or emotes at all in the game, but these ones caught my attention. If we first look at the emote, as you've probably seen all over the internet by now, this one is a reference to maybe the most epic of handshakes in cinema history. And while I do not think they will release the Illuminates yet, please remember that Pilestead previously have compared the Illuminates to the Predator. But what about the two victory poses? If we look at Guns of Liberty, a kneeling soldier flexing muscles. A closer look at that pose will reveal that this is a classic bodybuilder pose, one that brings connotations to sweat, big muscles.
Nice.
I initially saw this as a reference to the gladiator scene, you know this one. Look at it, bare arms in the armor. They look alike, no? And I thought, what a clever but bold move. After the community has been critical and commenting that Arrowhead are removing fun and creating bland warbonds, they release one full of flavor and hints at this message.
Is this not why you were here?
That's ballsy, but it's more likely a reference to Arnold Schwarzenegger's victory pose from when he won Mr. Universe. So in terms of poses, I think it's safe to say that the flavor is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then we get these new coloration patterns. Personally, I do not care about these. If we look at them narratively though, the camouflage theme is one that generally fits the 90s Arnold theme well, though if Arrowhead introduces color changes, I would have liked them to include the ability to change the coloration of armor. Not the abilities, just the coloration of all the armors I already have. I would like to be able to put this pattern on them. It would just be giving us a green armor pattern with a camouflage pattern for the under armor. So we could modify this look onto other armors as well. Which brings us to the new armor sets. I think these look good, and they definitely fit the theme. They're just the same armor design that we already know, so they fit with the original Helldiver style. What is unique is the coloration, this green and camouflage look, and that we get strong, muscly arms. Which does fit the narrative flavor, because none of Arnold's cool friends would wear sleeves in the jungle. Looking at the armor passive, it further feeds the muscle narrative by improving weapon handling, so you can juggle those large machine guns and making you punch harder. Overall, these armors fit the narrative both visually and mechanically. And may I just add that the doping steroid reference in the booster is clever as well. The booster is set to increase running speed and make the Helldiver take less damage for the duration. While this is cool and flavorful, it does sound like the booster synergizes better with the medkit armors, which extends the duration of stims, but we have to test that when the warbond is actually released. Finally, let's look at the weapons. We get a throwable knife, which is suitable for the warbond's theme, and I hope this knife will be good for making silent kills of smaller enemies.
Stick around.
In Predator, it is the knife that saves Dutch, Arnold's character, as it allows him to craft his arsenal of spears and traps. The sawed-off shotgun is powerful and packs a punch, just like the warbond, but more importantly, it presents a new style of weapon for the secondary slot, one that is significantly different from the existing weapons in this category. This is definitely not bad. It is a hard-hitting weapon, and I presume it has a lot of recoil. It fits the muscly narrative. Just like the carbine, an assault rifle that looks amazing with high recoil and low handling. But these are the only weapons in the warbond. Unlike previous warbonds, this warbond only features 3 weapons instead of the 5 weapon items we usually get. Overall, I think this warbond looks great. I said in my video about warband design that I thought that Arrowhead's best option for recovering the trust of the community would be to release a warbond that's dripping with narrative flavor, and this one is. And while I believe it is fine that they tone down the weapon churn a little to focus on quality over quantity, I fear that only having one new primary weapon is a little too limiting. Once people have tried the new assault rifle, they'll think the novelty went away too fast, the honeymoon ended too soon, especially in combination with Arrowhead's statement that they would like to tone down the speed with which they release warbonds. Of course, if there was armor patterns in the new warbond as well, players would have fun experimenting with their old favorite armors in these new styles. I think for each warbond, Arrowhead should give us something like a standard weapon, in this case the assault rifle, but also have a definingly unique primary weapon as well, something that really meets the flavor of the warbond. While most of the weapons in this narrative space, inspired by men with muscles and jungles, would fit better into the support weapon category, I think that a much heavier assault rifle style weapon, one that shoots slower and packs a harder punch, it should have much more recoil and heavy handling to match the passive from the armors. Maybe it would even have the ability to change between grenade launcher mode and normal fire instead of different fire rates. If Arrowhead stays on this course for warbonds, heavily inspired by popular culture from the 90s action movies, I am excited to see what else they come up with. The game will feel quite different when something with this strong flavor comes out, but once we have a couple of them to mix and match, the fact that it is vastly different from the rest of the game will not be as noticeable. In the future, if we stay with this Arnold theme, we could get a Terminator-inspired warbond where the defining weapon could be a shotgun with the one-handed property and lever action reload. Also, I think Arrowhead will be missing a golden opportunity unless they release a new expendable rocket-style weapon just like the one I described in my previous video during the time of this warbond. Also, I think it would be an obvious time to release that support weapon Gatling gun for players as well, as I will be describing in my next video. Those were all my thoughts. What do you think? Are you excited about the flavor of the new warbond? If it was up to you, which flavor warbond would you like to see, and what would be the defining weapon in that warbond? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, players gonna play, haters gonna hate, and I'm just gonna sit back and play nice with others. See you later.